The Toronto 2015 Pan Am Games is now a couple of days old, and as the GTA has welcomed visitors from thousands of countries, the church is also making an effort to be a welcoming host as well. David Wilson and Sarah Caudry from More Than Gold explain.
Yeah, for almost 2 years we've been planning on this. So we have a whole bunch of big screen festivals that churches are getting involved with. We have a whole bunch of mission teams that are coming, about 280 people from various different countries as far away as Brazil that are coming to help with sports clinics and camps. Churches are giving out water at about 11 different venues and park and ride lots. We have about 1,000 nights accommodation being provided by church folks to athletes, family members, and the official volunteers who couldn't find accommodation or couldn't find inexpensive accommodation. Right. So yeah, a lot of activities that we're really hoping to get the churches involved in throughout, not just the Pan Am Games, but the Para-Pan Am Games as well.
One of the major faith events taking place during the Games is the UN Gift Box. The giant gift box was launched during the 2012 London Olympics as a way to create awareness about the issue of human trafficking in the world. The idea is that many people come to countries like Canada with the promise of a gift, like a good job and great opportunities. But once that gift is unwrapped, many find themselves entwined in trafficking and abuse. The box has traveled to a number of countries before arriving in Toronto for the 2015 Pan Am Games. Sister Georgette Gregory from the Faith Alliance to End Human Trafficking explains.
People come here under the auspices, many refugees, thinking they're going to be given a good job and make money and send money home to their families, which they're here for, and then they find out they're caught in a situation they can't get out of. And so as religious communities, our focus is trying to be a lot on social justice, and this is a very strong social justice issue.
About a month before the Games, we visited the group of Ontario College of Arts and Design students who were commissioned by Sister Gregory and the team at the Faith Alliance to End Human Trafficking to design the interior artwork in the gift box. Roberto Ciotti, the professor who first introduced the project to his students, explains why it was important to be a part of such an initiative.
As designers, they have an incredibly powerful role to play in designing the future of the world. They really embraced the project, and I was very proud of them that they felt so committed and quite excited about the possibility of being engaged in a real-life project that was going to make a difference in the world.
And for the students involved in the redesign, this was an eye-opening experience as they learned about the realities of human trafficking in the very city they call home.
I was really shocked that the fact that it was actually happening in front of us in Toronto, and I had like no idea, and it was sort of like all underneath, hidden, and it was just a lot to take in.
Our very own Cheryl Weber was a part of the planning committee for the gift box and explains the importance of having such an issue showcased during the Games.
Well, you know, the world is coming here to Toronto, so it's a great time to start this conversation. And I think a lot of times when people think about trafficking, they think about other countries, but they don't realize that's happening right here in Canada, right here in Ontario, and Toronto is actually a hub and a destination for people with trafficking. So we want to start that conversation and get people involved, because that's really part of fighting it, is getting everyone aware of what's really happening. We have a petition that people can sign that's asking the Ontario government to come up with a plan. Other provinces are further ahead in that, developing a plan to fight trafficking. And since we are the province with the most trafficking, we'd like to see Ontario take a lead in Canada to fight that. So we're excited about that possibility as well. And also, you know, part of fighting trafficking is being aware of what's happening around you. Many of us have seen human trafficking right here in Canada, and we don't know that we've seen it. So as we educate ourselves, we can begin to help people and report it to the police and get people rescued.
Another important faith community initiative happening throughout the Games is headed up by the Salvation Army called Cup of Cold Water. Major Gordon Armstrong explains.
In the heat of the day, we don't want anybody to be uncomfortable, and knowing all the extra people that are going to be here, and you know, the pushing and the shoving and the lining up and the waiting, and everybody rushes to a venue and then stops because everybody gets checked for security. They're standing out in the heat, and we're saying, why aren't we doing what Scripture says and get a little cold water out there to them? And so we prepared for that. They're going to ask me questions. Why are you doing this for free? why are you here even? Why, and when they start to do that, then it opens conversation and allows us to just share the gospel in one way or another.
Jarrett Wall is encouraged by the many acts of kindness the church is showing throughout the next couple of weeks. He is a part of the chaplaincy program made available to the athletes throughout the games.
Well, it's been really great to see the church and to see a number of churches and denominations joining together to really use the platform of the games to reach in the community. And it's very unique to see Toronto and the province of Ontario and the government of Canada come together to make a really great event. And as Christians in the community, we want to see how can we use that to really benefit the community in general.
Jarrett is among a large group of multi-faith leaders from across the country made available at the Multi-Faith Center in the Athletes Village during the games for prayer, Bible studies, and support.
For these athletes, it's one of the highest pressure events that they'll face, and many of them, again, coming into a new environment, new country, new time zone, and they don't really know what to expect. And for these athletes, they're looking towards the Olympics. Out of the 51 sports, there's about 30 of them are Olympic qualifiers, and so many of these athletes, it's a very, very important meet for them, and it can be quite difficult. So they're really in a time of need and under a lot of pressure.
We also hope to be able to provide some of the challenges.
And that's why David Wilson and Sarah Caudry are happy that the church has risen to the occasion to be a welcoming body during Pan Am 2015.
If the city is doing something, we want them to be seen as part of the community as well. So it's really important that the church not just be sitting on the side, but they open their doors, they actually go out to the streets, and they be seen as part of the community as well. One of the big events we've always had said to us before, different major sporting events, we had a mayor in Germany that after the church is involved there, he basically said to those churches, he said, prior to the actual World Cup here, I thought you guys were irrelevant.
Wow.
But now that we've seen you in action, we want you to do the same activities over and over again for a major sporting event. So that's what we're really wanting to see in Toronto and all around the GTA.
In Toronto, Ontario, Maggie John, 100 Huntley Street.